All right. Hello, everyone. We are joined today on the podcast by Mr. Sam Trickett. Sam is over in the UK. Sam, how's it going?
It's going good, man. Yeah. Just relaxing at home. Not been playing much poker. A little bit online the last few days, but been taking it easy.
I love you say not much poker. You're just fresh off the second place for a bracelet over in where was it? Was at Kings. Well, tell me about that a little bit. Yeah. How did that go?
Yeah, it was nice. It was nice to have a deep run. Don't play too many tournaments anymore, but it was nice to get a deep run. Remember what it feels like to get down to the crunch time. It was exciting playing for a bracelet as well. Bracelet on the table for the third time and still didn't get there, but it's you can't grumble at these things. I'd have took the result before I even went into the final, never mind before the tournament. So can't really complain in an all-round good tournament.
Yeah, I saw you got second to Collie Burns. Very tough player. You have 3 seconds at the World Series. You're known for second place in the big one for one drop to Antonio. I remember I was there for that. That was pretty exciting. That was at the time the biggest.
On the other side, right? You're Antonio.
I had to root for him there. There's not many people I'm going to root for ahead of you, but yeah, I was on there on that side. But that was a $10 million score, second place. That was back in 2012. What other events did you? You said you got 3 seconds in WSOPs.
Yeah, I got second in a 5K. Yeah, 2010 maybe. But this was the one that I really thought I was going to win because I was playing really well back then, picking up chips. It was actually a really tough final table back then. I can't remember all the players, but it was really tough. And I got heads up with not Richard Lindecker. Sorry, that's it. Who's just passed away. I forget all the names. I don't know. You know what I'm like. But I had a really tough final table back then, and I got a bit unlucky heads up. And that World Series, I went on to have a few more deep runs, and it really felt that was the year that I was going to win a bracelet. Now it's like 9 years ago, so it's been a long time coming to get heads up for a bracelet again. And yeah, I was a bit disappointed, but you know what? Like Cale Burns was playing really good poker throughout the tournament. I played a lot with him. I was on his table most of the time, and he probably deserved to win over everyone, to be honest. So.
Nice. Well, yeah, I mean, seconds they're annoying, but they keep the lights on, and you don't just play tournaments, you play cash games as well. I want to kind of give a rundown for those that aren't familiar with you. We're going to look at your Hennen Mob dating back. You started, I believe, playing poker in 2005, but tell us a little bit about your pre-poker, kind of growing up, what it was like for you just in general and where you grew up, and also how you did get into poker. Because I know you played football professionally at a high level growing up. So tell us a little bit about that, what it was like growing up in the UK and sort of your path to start into poker.
Yeah, I grew up in a village, probably about 500 people, and there's like not a lot to do there at all. Not many people my age, so there was literally not much to do outside of play football, go out and entertain myself. There was a local pub, and that was about it, with a pool table in. So my childhood looked something like playing football on my own against the wall, practicing. Loved football, so that stimulated me at the time. And then I was like, when I turned 14, I started playing pool in the local pub, and I could get in there, and I enjoyed that too. That was challenging. I always liked things that I could improve quickly at. Pool's a fairly simple game, and I could improve pretty quickly at that. And I just got carried on playing those two things, putting everything into those, kind of like what I did with poker when I finally got into poker. If I do something, I normally do it like 100%. Like I just give it everything and get quite obsessive with things and want to be the best version of myself I can in that particular thing I'm doing. So, and then, there was a gambling machine in the pub, actually. Do you know slot machines?
Yeah.
Do you know room machines? And I used to watch that like from a young age, and I would like monitor it, and I'd watch how much money was going into it, and then I'd figure out when it was ready to pay out, and then I would just jump on it and keep making money off these slot machines to the point like where I got banned off it. And then I'd go around other slot machines and I'd figure out some like cheats and little tactics on how to beat these machines, and it like kind of introduced me to gambling, and that's like where it all started in terms of gambling for me. Because my dad's like never had a bet in his life, my mum doesn't. So it was it found me from the pub basically, and then my friend introduced me to poker, and that like appealed to me more because it was like a skill game where I could gamble, so I could do both, something where I could get better at it and gamble and get the buzz I was chasing as well. So that's just how it found me. Yeah, I was quite lucky, really.
But when you started playing football, you were playing on how did that work? So you were in a youth team, like a local team, and then you moved on to a premiership youth team, or how does that go about?
Well, when I was like 10 or 9, I was really good at football. Like I was always like the best player in the school. And I was like getting trials for Nottingham Forest from the age of like 9 and 10. And it's quite hard to get trials where I'm from because there's not many clubs. It's the middle of nowhere. So I was doing pretty well. I had a pretty bad attitude from that age till about 14, 15. And I was like always just assumed that I was going to make it pro because I was always the best player when I played with the teams and I represented the league. And then I got trials for Sheffield United, started playing for Sheffield United for a little bit. And then they would say to me that, they put me on the bench a bit and saying you can turn up but you can play on the bench. And I was like, back then I was just like not interested. I was like, had a bit of a ego, thought I was better than what I was and had a bad attitude and I didn't really give it my all. And it kind of knocked my confidence a little bit because I had trials for Forest from when I was 10 and they said no. And at the time I was like, oh my, it's over. That was my chance at being a professional footballer at 10. I never dealt with rejection. So that kind of like knocked my confidence a bit and made me like give up a little bit mentally and like a bit unsure, and which made me want to not try and fail. But then, from 16, I got my shit together when I realised, what I needed to. Started playing, started practicing, got really good, and then I was playing for like Retford United first team, where they pay you like, I think I was getting 60 quid a game or something like that. But paying that, and yeah, then I got injured. I was getting looked at by a few clubs then as well, and then I just snapped my cruciate ligament in a cup final. And it was kind of like my own fault too. Like the guy was a really good player, was 1-0 down with 5 minutes to go, and I was chasing the ball down and just like crunched this player, and I did my own, and never really went back from that. Yeah, so it was pretty disappointing because it was what I was going to do is like what I'd planned to do. I'd always set out to do that, and then that was it. Dream was over, and that was difficult.
Damn. So, right away though, how did poker then come into play? Was that something you were already sort of doing, or this is literally?
Yeah. I didn't know when you wanted me to stop. I felt like I was talking for a long time, so I'll just keep running with it if you want. Yeah. So basically, I was playing football, and I was working as well a little bit, doing like some odd jobs like scaffolding and gas engineer work just to try and get money in. And then I was doing a bit of poker as well as football and a bit of work, and even a bit of pool. I was just doing a mixture of everything. Right. And I was doing them all poorly. Do you know what I mean? I wasn't doing like one particularly as well as I could have done because I was diluted with, everything I was doing. And it got to a point where I realized that. And then I decided to give up pool just because there was no money in it. I went to the World Championships at pool. I played a guy, he was way better than me anyway. I was still young, but I felt like I could have climbed up the rankings, if you like. But I played this Chris Mellin, who was like world number 1, and I was speaking to him. He told me he got 10 grand for winning the World Championships, and I was like, well, he's way better than me. Well, the best cues I've seen, and like all that work I've got to do for 10 grand. I almost immediately stopped playing pool at that point, and then I was like, right, let's put everything into poker, and he kind of like just transferred all that obsession to poker. And then I would be like using my wages to play and lose it sometimes, run it up sometimes, doing a really poor job of going to work, like thinking about poker all day whilst trying to do think about poker whilst trying to do my job was just terrible. Late nights, I'm sure a lot of people's been through that where you're trying to do both and it's just grueling. And I got to a point where I was like, you know what, I've got a few quid in the bank. I'm going to give it a go at poker full time.
So were you one of those, you played live, but were you online at this time? Did you put some money online and were messing around online too? Or was this just fully live?
I started playing on CryptoLogic. I don't know if you remember that. And then Partypoker. These were the sites I started playing on back then. So I played a bit of cash. But I was doing a bit of both, really. Testing myself in casinos, then testing myself in like sit and goes. And I would like almost climb the stakes, then get smashed up at the higher stakes, like taking shots, and then go back down and sometimes go broke and then wait for my wages to build up, then go back in. And it was like, I enjoyed it. I was always figuring out what was going wrong, and but I always did seem like I won more when I played live than online. But online was just a quicker way and a quicker platform to get better, quicker, because back then there wasn't really trading videos.
Yeah, actually, I started online on Partypoker as well. I think it was 2003 or 4 with like $50. They had to refer a friend. You could transfer the money around, and I must have been, I don't know what age I was, like 18 or 17. I forget, but it was definitely, I remember that Partypoker was the original site. It's kind of cool. We both endorsed ambassadors for Partypoker now. Kind of comes full circle.
Romantic. So romantic.
Yes, the right place to be. Looking at your Hendon mob, very interesting that your first ever tournament, I was taking a peek. Do you remember the first tournament you ever played or cashed?
Is it the £100? I do remember, yeah.
Yeah.
£100 in the gala at Nottingham.
Yeah, 100 pound, and you took first. I mean, that's pretty cool. Like your first ever cash to just take first. That's got to
I can't see it. I think this is the tournament. Yeah, so the guy that comes third, James Green, is was an usher at my wedding. He's one of my best friends.
Oh, really?
And Chris Sly, who was 8th, he was the best man at my wedding. So we never played a big tournament as big as £100. We used to play like 50s and 20s, and we was like this gala championships coming up, and we was like, let's all play it. And we all drove together in the same car, and we all made the final table. So that was like pretty memorable night in my poker career, actually, because there was like professionals in this tournament as well. I'd never played with professionals. I just played at the local casino, and I remember like Barney Boatman being there and playing on the table, and I was like, he's Barney Boatman, like, I want to play with him. And like I was in awe of him, and this was the first time I tested myself at Monk's Pros, and then like obviously I come first, so I was like walking out there feeling really confident and wanting to play again. And then there was a few days after, there was like a 200 or a 500. What was it? Is it on there? £500 next result? I can't remember.
There's one for 5. Yeah, the main event.
Yeah, because I took a shot in the £500 one like the very next day. I thought, oh, I'm ready, and I cashed it, got my 500 back. But and then I was like, from that on, where I'd feel like I'd test myself at a higher level, I went around to playing like Luton tournaments, like £300 side events and other events, and I kept getting deep runs. And when I got knocked out, I was getting unlucky, so it just like motivated me to want to play more and bigger and higher.
Do you feel that do you think it would have been different? Obviously, butterfly effect, whatever. Like if you taken second, third, cash, not cashed, like did this kind of get you the bug? Or I mean, it was just you love poker.
I already had the bug by then. Do you know what I mean? By then, I'd already had the bug by then. Like I played a £10 tournament. The second time I ever went to a casino, I played a £10 tournament. I won it for £1,000. I think from that moment I was hooked, because I'd always played with my friends and I knew I was better than all my friends. But when I first tested myself in a casino for £10, I won it for £1,000. I was like, wow. And then it was like I was kind of hooked from then on, because in my mind back then, like the casino was where all the best players in the world was. That's like professionals, and that's how you tested yourself. I didn't even really know about the tour as such back then, or the circuits, or these big tournaments. That was just I thought, if you wanted to play against the best players, you can play in the casino. So I was hooked already by then.
Excuse me, I got a little cold here.
Like you just said, if you like start any new game and don't get any results, and it goes bad to start off with, it can kind of put you off, right? But like poker's not quite the same. It's like there's skill in it, and you can make decisions and make good decisions and learn from them. So I guess I was making good decisions, and that's why I was hooked rather than the results.
So I see the Hennen mob here kind of taking a walk down over a decade ago, but then you're first out of your home country of the UK, you go to the US, and it looks like you do score a nice 4th place at the World Series. So this is like a year later, roughly, from when your first win there. You got $245K for 4th. What was that like? That was your first time to the Vegas?
Yeah, my first time to Vegas. I think I had like a $20,000 roll, just turned 21, I think. And then I was like, let's go for it. And then I was playing the World Series, and I was booked on to go to a stag do, actually, to Barcelona. I can't remember the dates, but like the same day as that 250K. I was with my friends in the house, sharing a house. And I was supposed to leave the day before that 5K 6 max. All my flights were booked and everything. And 5K was a big tournament for me anyway. I just won actually the 1K Monday on Full Tilt like 3 days before this event. So I boosted my bankroll massively. That was like $80,000. So now I want to stay and play some bigger events. And so I skipped the stag do because I just really fancied playing these few tournaments, and I skipped it, and I came 4th in that tournament. That was the moment where it was like, I played the World Series. I played one of the toughest events in a 5K 6 max. And I felt like I did really well. And it was like having a bracelet back then was like very rare in England. I think it was like Praz, Banzi, and the Devilfish that only had one. So I got so close, and I'd had like a pretty big score for an English player, and that really motivated me as well to want to keep playing more and more.
Yeah, you did mention Richard Lydecker, who did pass away. Very sad, but I thought he did take second in that. Maybe that's what you were thinking.
Yeah, that was the one. Yeah, played with him.
So
that was the one I played with him. Yeah, that was the one I get a few mixed up. Like there was another one later on, the 5K later on, second for a race.
Sad news, Richard, very nice guy. Sorry to hear about that. Of course, that's never, I mean, that's crazy, right? Like you were battling.
I didn't know him too well, so I haven't got the best opinion, but he was always polite, and he was a great player, and, I've heard good things, so he must have been a nice guy.
Yeah. And so moving forward though, you're still playing at this point. When you get into big cash games, because you're known and sort of playing the highest stakes in Macau and sort of finding that niche at the time, there was a couple year period where maybe more, where I remember even some from my circle in America, there were guys, Rast and Phil Locke, they were going over and they would talk about these crazy games in Macau, and it was just insane. So you were kind of there. How did you get hooked up into that scene? Was that something you were one of the first from? Did you hear about it and went over there? How did that work, and when was that?
Yeah, so after I had those results, the 1K Monday and the 6 max, I started playing higher, got really too big for my boost, made a bit more money, like won UKB2 Luton, had like 300 or 400K roll, which was huge back then, and then I just lost it all. By being stupid, making bad decisions, helping friends out, staking people I shouldn't have. I was very naive back then, wanting to do people favors and help them out, and it cost me a lot of money. And then I went broke, and I was running out of options. And funny enough, my girlfriend, well, my fiance, I think she was, back then. No, she was just my girlfriend back then. Left me as well. She was like, I've been with her since she was 16, so I was like, had no money left. My faces were still on the magazines. Like everyone thought I was rich, and back then, like I was just too insecure or to dishonest to tell people what had actually happened. I was too ashamed. So then I had no choice. So I went. James Board offered me like a staking opportunity to be staked. If I coached his players, and he had a poker farm. If I coached his players, and I went out to Cape Town, and when he started Cape Town, yeah, it's beautiful, man. Like it's the best place. Yeah. Like I loved it. It's like it means a lot to me because it's where I started from the bottom again and had to pick myself back up and go through like tough times.
I've been to South Africa. I have not been to Cape Town. I heard it's ridiculously beautiful. So you were literally, you went in theory, you were sort of technically broke or whatnot.
Yeah, I remember having like £3,500, right, left it to my name. But $3,000 it was my overdraft, and I was counting it as to my name. I had £500. I was thinking about playing a £3,000 main event at London. I was actually seriously considering it because I fancied my chances, but I was like, I can't. I need it to live. And then I was like, right, now I really am fucked. Basically, I don't know what I'm going to do. And then someone reached out to me who liked the way I play and had some results and asked me to go to Cape Town, but I didn't know him. So it was like such a big move, but I didn't really have any other options. And I was like, you know what, my girlfriend's broke up, why not? Let's go there. I went there, and it was the best thing I ever did, to be honest.
Wait, so when was this exactly? What year?
Like roughly 11, maybe. I could go wrong. 2011.
No, it can't. Was it 11?
No, sorry, 2006.
Oh,
yeah, 2006.
Okay, so this was before the tournament score that one, before the 100-pound tournament win, and like that starter, was it after?
I don't know, man. I never.
Come on, Sam. We gotta get this is your historical timeline here. We gotta get this right.
It's all the same thing. I mean, I never look at the dates. Like
May 2007 was when you had that 100-pound win. So I just want to understand if it was like
after the GUKPT Luton win, whatever year that was. Tell you what, it's on my wall. I'll tell you now.
Get it right, Sam. This is important.
All right, sorry,
buddy. Your journey.
September 2008, and so it was 2009 when I went to Cape Town.
All right, so you go to Cape Town, and so what's that like? You just show up there to South Africa, and you're just like, all right, I'm here to teach some guys, and that's like
people I don't really know either. So I was like living in a nice area, to be fair, and I had like a nice apartment. So instantly, I was like, wow, this place is amazing. It was difficult because I had a lot going on in my mind, but it was a big learning curve for me to go there on my own, maybe a little bit more independent and deal with my problems and where I've gone wrong and just analyze my decision making and how I got to where I was. So it's quite therapeutic in a way, a lot of thinking time on my own, but also like it was a platform for me to start building and try and get myself back playing well and making money again. But Bordy was staking, give me like 2K a month salary, and then it'd be staking me in a £5, £10 game. And that was like kind of like my bread and butter. So I built it up. He agreed to give me like $30,000 World Series package to stake me, and I had to play satellites to get into some of the bigger events, and that's what I did. I went to the World Series that year of 2010, right?
Yep.
Yeah, and then it's just I was playing really well since then. I'd played thousands and thousands of hands, probably playing like 7,000 Sorry, 70,000 hands a month in Cape Town on average. Like, so I just really improved a lot, and I was speaking a lot about poker in a way I never had, and that's when it all started. That's when I was playing a lot better than I'd ever played, and I've learned a lot. I got more experience with bankroll management, so this was like when it all kind of started for me. And I went.
We got it. We got it.
I had a good World Series and cashed for like $1 million, maybe. Was it? I don't know.
You got a 500K second in that one.
Yeah, that was the one. Yeah, I thought I was going to win the Bracelet. Played really well in that final. I just got unlucky towards the end. But yeah, I had a big score that World Series. I cashed for, I don't know, 800K or something, maybe 900. Chopped it up with Bordy, and then I had my bankroll back again, and I just kind of went on my own. But it was like when we went back to Cape Town, because you obviously asked me about Macau, and I'll jump forward a little bit. But this is why. I was in Cape Town one day, and we read up all these big cash games in Macau. I think it was John Duenda, Phil Ivey, Tom Dwan was playing out there. And Bordy said to me, I can take a huge piece, I can stake you in this big game if you want to go out there and play. And I remember him like saying, we'll book you on a first class flight all the way out there. And I was like blown away. I'd never flown first class by that point. And then I was like flying first class to play in one of the biggest games in the world with like Phil Ivey, Tom Dwan. And for me, it was like a bit of a dream, like a bit surreal, like, what the fuck is going on? Like, I've just been going like broke playing, 5-10, 6 months or a year ago. And then it's like, it's all taking off. And obviously I was fortunate where, I made my backers a lot of money every time they'd invested in me. I'd worked hard and I was playing well, and they was confident in investing in me. So that obviously helps a lot. But I was also willing to risk my own money in these spots as well. So took some high risk, do you know what I mean? But it was I went there and I didn't know anyone.
That's the kind of stuff I thought. There's some similarities in our journey with cash and high stakes and sort of randomness to getting put into kind of getting some games and opportunities. I think it's a good example about poker, why it's just not normal. Like it's such a different lifestyle or different. There's so much things that, like, if someone asked me, would you want to make maybe more money being a hedge fund something or trading or doing other stuff, like the experiences, the journey, the people I've met through poker, I just have so much fun. The whole thing, like, this is the kind of stuff, like, this story is like so random but so powerful, and it's really shows that you control your own destiny. You can do hard work, you can put yourself in good opportunities, you're always on interview, and here you are, you create something out of nothing that leads to, you're in South Africa, you're in Vegas playing, you hit some scores, and that next thing you know, you're mixing it up at the forefront of some of the highest stakes in the world with the biggest names in poker. I mean, that to me is fascinating and very cool. I'm glad we could get the dates kind of sorted out.
Yeah, they're all about the dates. Yeah, sorry, yeah. Probably should have looked into it, but I don't really talk about my past too much, to be honest. I don't bring up too much.
Today we're bringing it out, or some of it. So yeah. All right, so you go there and you still have to win. So you get your business class, you're going over, you're kind of living the dream. You show up, it's a different culture. You're in. I've been to Macau, I've played there. I mean, it's a different world, right? Like, you're there, people don't speak English. You're just in the middle of like Vegas of Asia. What was that like for the first time? Like, you go sit down and you just tell me about that first initial getting settled in there.
Yeah, because I went there and I wasn't like definitely getting a seat in the game. I've never really networked or to get into a poker game, or like had to do that because I'd only ever played tournaments really, and just walked into a casino. I'd never been to a private game, and I don't even think it wasn't private back then, but it wasn't allowed to be private, but they did like turn a blind eye to like the Western players. But I just thought I'd go there, take my chances. I ended up partying quite a bit back then. Used to love going out and drinking, and I met a few of the boys that was in the game, like Paul Poir, Richard Young, and Winfred. I ended up partying with quite a bit, and eventually they said to me, "Come and play. You can play in the game." And I said, "Yeah, why not?" So I went and played. It went really well. I won like my nine out of my first 10 sessions there in the biggest game I'd ever played. So I was like pretty lucky to go on a nice run to start off with, take some pressure off when you're playing high stakes. And I didn't know how I was going to be able to cope with the swings. Losing a big amount of money, is difficult. So it was like, to get off to a good start was always key, and then like I had a little buffer in case I went behind. But yeah, so it was crazy. I remember like playing in pots with like Tom Dwan for like 7 figures regularly, and Ivy, and I'd never played poker with them before, and it was just like a huge test again, playing in the biggest games, the biggest stakes with the best players, and I come out on top again, and it was like I was just feeling really proud, to be honest, and it was a hard to process what was actually going on.
So what? But was that that was late 2010 then? Because I see 2011. That's kind of where you really, burst on with some major 7-figure scores and whatnot. But was this like wintertime? Like what time was it in 2010? Because you hit the scores in January of 11. So it was before that?
Sorry, I'm just have to jog my memory. I think it might have been after the Aussie Millions.
Oh, so maybe you had those. Okay, yeah. So 2011, you had a good 2010. You had the score in the summer. You're doing well. Yeah. Things are good. You go to Australia. You hit first place in us. Was that your first time in Australia?
Yeah, that was my first time in Australia.
Hold on, time out, Sam. Next time you play for the first time in a country, maybe I get like a little friendship buy a piece. Every tournament in the new country that's new, you just take first. So this was a big one. This was not £100. This was $100,000 buy-in tournament. First time you show up in Australia and you win 1.5 million.
Yeah, that was pretty ridiculous. Yeah, because it was the biggest tournament I'd ever played as well. So it's obviously very fortunate to take a shot in a big tournament like that, and then obviously run as well as I did. And that's obviously a part of the luck and where I am. But it's yeah, it was pretty, again, like surreal. I keep using the same word. I can't think of another one, but like I didn't really take it all in back then. I was just literally just doing and moving to the next tournament, testing myself, moving up, big games. But it's you need a lot of luck in poker, and when you also need to be able to take a lot of risks. Some people don't. Some people look after what they've got and don't challenge themselves enough. But I was always trying to be aggressive and push myself up the stakes and play in the biggest games and bigger and be aggressive with even my bankroll, to keep being aggressive. And I truly felt that I had a big edge over everyone back then. People was playing quite face up and transparent, and it's I kind of knew what they had almost every hand, and it was it just seemed like I had this massive edge. And to be honest, back then I thought this is going to be around forever. So because these players had been around for the last 10 years playing poker, and I really thought that it's going to be around forever. But I was just thought, let's just cash in, keep playing as much as I can, and that's what I did. So I just kept playing. And
I see the next day or the next tournament, you take first and then you take second for 1.3 million and a 250K buy-in. So I mean, you really are just it's like parlaying. You're in the right spots. You're playing now the biggest, even higher.
Yeah.
It's crazy. So you hit that
5-1 chip lead going heads up to win that tournament as well against Eric Seidel.
You had a 5-1 lead?
Yeah, so it looked like I was going to do the double, and didn't go well. I didn't play that good. I don't think I'm very good heads up, if I'm honest. I've had a few seconds now where I've looked back and I could have played better. And to be honest, I haven't had much experience playing heads up either. So it's something I need to work on. But I always feel like when I walk away from my heads up matches, I could have played better. So I was really disappointed when I didn't finish the job in the 250K. I remember ringing my dad and I was upset, and he was saying, "Well, congratulations," and I'm like, "Nah, I wasn't happy, even though with the 2 results, because I knew that I hadn't played my best." And that was what I was always so obsessed with doing. I was so focused on performance. If my performance was right, I knew the results would come too. And it's and I didn't quite play my best, so I kind of blew it heads up as well.
And not to get in, I really don't want to focus on the personal stuff too much, but just, you said your girlfriend broke up with you. You broke up when you went to South Africa. Were you back together now? Because I know you were at one point. Did you have the same girlfriend?
She wanted to get back with me after the Aussie Millions.
Okay, all right, yeah. You got a phone call, some distant cousins and exes.
Yeah. All of a sudden, she fell in love with me again. Huh?
Oh man. Okay.
She was with me before I had any money, so I was only having a joke, but it was was a coincidence maybe.
Nice. All right. Well, so you get back, you hit some scores, and that makes sense as well. That then you go to Asia. It's one thing to head over to those biggest cash games in the world, just kind of cold turkey, but you get an extra $2.5 million US boost there, and then from there it sets over that part of the world. You just went in 2011. That's when you just head over to Macau from Australia?
Yeah. So, from Aussie Millions is when I really had a big bankroll injection. And then I was wanting to play in the biggest games all the time now. Full of confidence, playing well, and just wanted to try and capitalize on that while I could. And I went out to Macau and played in these games, and it was going well. It was going really well. I had played some sick pots though. I'll never forget, and I'm not sure I'll play pots as big as that ever again. But some pots stick with me that'll taught me a lot as well. Life skills as well as just on the poker table. Like getting smashed up in like massive pots. Huge pots, and then like getting 2 outed for like 2.5 million pound pot, got 2 outed, 1 cut to common. I was like, it's just like gut wrenching, and it's like it teaches you how to deal with like adversity and big losses, and it like almost helps you like outside of poker with dealing with controversy and adversity and like bad things in your life. It's just it did teach me a lot playing these massive stakes and high stakes, and once you start losing big pots like that, it's like you go everyday things that just doesn't rattle you as much as he maybe would have done before. It's like it really is difficult to be emotionally attached in these big high pots, and I got to a point where I kind of am now, but you have to kind of go through the pain in order to get where I am now, basically. And that's what I felt like Macau did for me, playing such high games.
For sure. We do have questions, guys. We're going to give a $55 ticket on Party Poker Way if you want to go to Twitter and ask Sam a question. We are going to leave some time towards the end here to go through. I've seen a lot of interesting questions already. Literally could do a podcast off the questions on there, but we're going to keep it rolling here. We're going through the kind of history of Sam. I do want to just scroll up. Well, it looks like you got your revenge in the Aussie Millions anyway. You did take first in that 250K a couple of years later. So you did check that off the list. Nice. So you got that one done. But before that, I do want to talk about the Partouche win, because I remember this was a big event. I think there was some cheating scandal there maybe, or something happened later on. But I remember it was like a marquee event. They were getting really big numbers, and it was a crazy deal. But this is actually a big difference, because winning the 100K, 200K, 250K, you got backers, stakers, most likely, are different things. But on these type of events, when it's like a main event, when you can hit like, this is an $8,500 to $1.3 million win. That's like, it's just a crazy return. I mean, that's got to be a significant win in your career in terms of hitting like a title. Talk to you about that.
Yeah, the lower buying ones with the big first prize, the main events, are always the ones you want to win, really, because more often than not you're gonna have a bigger piece in yourself, and that's what happened. It went really smoothly through that tournament. Just cruising, building chips, like never was all in the whole tournament. Went to the final with chip lead, and it was actually a delayed final as well. It was 6 weeks delayed final, so I could like fly all my friends and my family in to watch me, and for them to all be there when I won, and triumphed. It's like it was nothing better, really. It's probably like the highlight of my whole poker career, really. It was very nice, special, and it sticks with me. Like, and so that was a great event. I think I heard they're bringing it back. Actually, I just spoke to someone at Rozadov, and they're saying Partouche is going to be back now. So I don't know if it's
happened. Was there some scandal or something, or some incident there?
Yeah, but apparently it's going to be in Cannes again, and they're going to do it again. I don't know if they're using the same branding. I think they are, but like it's a different set of people organising it. I don't know. It seems pretty brave after the last time, but I think I'd just brand a whole new event if I was them, because it kind of got, the reputation.
I actually don't remember what happened. I just remembered like something issue there. I have no idea.
I don't know, like cheating, signaling to his friends. Like I think it was like aces, kings, queens, depends where he touched. I could be wrong on that, but like that's what I seem to remember. A year after it happened to me, and then there was some other like problem where they guaranteed a certain amount of money and wasn't paying it, and then the players all kicked off and they decided to do it. There was a few things that came up that was questionable. I can't
Fair enough. Oh, I know you got the 1.3. No issue there. So you got paid and you hit a win. That's a signature win. You say that's the signature of your career. Before, I don't want to make this all about the Hen and Ma, but I do want to scroll up to 2012, because this is the Partouche is a signature personal win. You took first. It's a small buy-in, big payout, smaller buy-in, not small, but in the scheme of things. But then the big one for one drop. I mean, this was this was when it happened. It was just, there was nothing. I don't think there was even a 500K before. So they have $1 million event in Vegas, 1 million, big one for one drop. And you end up taking second for 10 million to a good friend of ours, Antonio Esfandiari. And as Burning Man, we've all been to Burning Man together. We shared in the same camp in 2014. I think that was your first year, right? 2014?
Yeah. Antonio was trying to get me to go for so long. He was trying to get me to go. 2 years. He's trying to get me to go.
Me too. He exactly same thing. And now I met my wife and baby from it. We walked by the middle of the desert there. So that was that trip, 2014.
I'll pay for you to go. I'll pay for you to go.
Yeah, same thing.
He was peppering me that much to go. I turned around to him and said to him, "Have you got a bet that you can get me to Burning Man?" Because he was peppering me that much. And then I don't want to go. It's not for me. I don't like the sand. I want to get a shower. I want to get in bed. And then he said to me, like, just trust me. And I was like, you know what? Like, he seems like he's got good taste. Seems pretty happy in life. Like, I'm just going to give him a spin and just trust him. And I went there and I was just literally blown away. And it changed my life in a way as well. It changed the person I am. Like, learned a lot about myself. And I never regret it. I owe him one for that.
Yeah, we can say
beating me heads up, right?
Yeah, exactly. But so speaking, this was now 2012. But tell me about this to fire $1 million, because this is pretty serious. Like, I think I saw a documentary or part of some special on this. But how did this come about? How long did you know you were going to play the $1 million before? Was it like kind of like, wow? Did you have to sit back and say, or you just like, no, I want this, I want to do it, or was it sort of like because that is intimidating. I know Antonio, who won the event, wasn't going to play until like 2 or 3 days before, and he started like making a few calls and kind of round up the money real quick. But was this like when you heard about it, you knew you were playing? When you heard about it, were you like, wow, I'd love to play, but it's $1 million? Or how did this kind of unfold for you?
I had a good relationship with Matchbook back then. I knew the owner very well. He's a wealthy guy. He was either staking me or taking huge pieces of me in these games, and things was going really well. We had a good relationship. I made him a lot of money. And when the one dropped came out, they didn't even hesitate. It was like boom. They was almost excited for it. And obviously when they took pieces of me in these like 250Ks and 100Ks before, they'd gone really well. So when they'd been aggressive and took shots at bigger tournaments. So they never hesitated. They said, "You're in." That was exciting, knowing it's coming up and I'm in, and I've got it's something to look forward to. I put a lot of work into that. I was thinking about it every day, like thinking I was going to be playing against, like YouTubing the players in there and like trying to get as much information as I could on them. And so as far as preparation goes, that was like the best preparation I'd ever put into a tournament. So which helped a lot. And something I probably could do better these days. Before I'm playing big tournaments, I could prepare a little bit better. But it's difficult when your motivation's not there as much. When the 250, when the million just was on, and the 250K, I prepare well for these, but the outside of that, I'm not preparing as well as I should. But yeah, it was really exciting, and obviously I knew Guy was doing it. He was a legend, like a massive life legend. He's started from nothing, built the biggest show in the world, gives loads of money to charity, like parties well, his family man, like. So he was doing it. I knew it'd be a great show, and it was. It was like an all-round perfect event. Other than I didn't win.
Right. Yeah. It's pretty phenomenal to get there, to get it done. I remember, just the excitement of that event. They did get I think 48 it was, or 42 or 48 sold out, or they did exactly. Yeah. So pretty crazy, really, special to get that. You had a nice little stretch there with 3 basically 7-figure scores in a row. You had the 10 million, then you went to Hong Kong, it looks like, or maybe in Macau. I'm sorry, not Hong Kong, but you had $1 million, took 7th and won there, and then that's when you did win the $2 million for the Aussie Millions right after that as well. So pretty big stretch. You took 2nd in Premier League, and as you mentioned, you're not really, from that point on, it looks like from 2014, you didn't really play a ton of tournaments. Like you play cash games, doing some other stuff, but it seems like you haven't been doing quite as much the tournaments from then on.
What kind of like put me into retirement a little bit, if you like, because I played the second $1 million for one drop. The second time they had the million. And,
2014.
Yeah, 2014. And then I finished day one with like 15 million chips or 40 million chips. And the average was 4, and Ivy was second with like 7. So I was like a huge chip lead going into day 2. And I was like, wow, it's going to happen again. And I was so excited going into day 2. And then it didn't work out day 2. I got unlucky in 2 pots, and then I played some pots shit as well. So I didn't play well as well. And then I played a pot versus Daniel with my exit hand with like 15 left. Might have even been chip lead pot, like where I had aces. And then on the river, the top card paired, and I moved all in a 3-year pot, and I'm like, please don't snap call. And he didn't, and I was like thinking in the time, I was like, please call, because I've got massive chips again. And then he was like, said to me, "Oh, you're dead, bro, you're dead." And I was like, what does he mean? I'm dead? He can't, because he would have called already. He's like, you don't have tens or something. I thought he was trying to get a read on me. I was still thinking, like, just call. And then like 30 seconds later, he just called and he had trips, and I was so baffled. And I was like, what just happened? And I was like, in my mind, I got slow rolled hard. And I know he likes to, take his time for his tournament life, or when the cameras are on, he likes it as well. But I was so steamed about this hand. And I was like, whoa, not in this tournament, mate. Surely the way the tournament went out is like slow roll with aces on the exit after having chip lead. And I was like, fuck these tournaments. Yeah, it was too painful. And then I didn't play well. Like on day 2, I felt like I murdered it a little bit. And I just thought, no, I'm not going to just start playing these massive buying tournaments unless I'm prepared and I'm ready. And you know what? I'd lost my motivation. I made a lot of money, and I didn't really have any targets. I could achieved all my goals that I'd set out to achieve. And it was like, I realized that my game was suffering. And so I just decided I wasn't going to play these big buying tournaments unless I was prepared and playing well. And to be honest, back then I was enjoying life, doing things. Just met my wife, actually. The night that I got knocked out by Daniel, I went into a club and I met Mika. So
I did not know that. Wow. Okay. Yeah, Mika. I remember she's doing some DJing now. You guys are married. I just, you guys were a great host in London. I spent some time with you guys there, and that's awesome. So that night, that was like
it's pretty crazy. That's pretty crazy. The night that was like the worst poker day of my whole life, I went out and met Mika. So it was like, the best thing that could have ever happened, really. So I was quite lucky in that respect. So it's crazy.
You didn't know her before because she's from the UK and you were in Vegas.
She was just on a random trip to Vegas. She just broke up with her boyfriend and said, "Screw it, let's go to Vegas." And I met her after I bust the 1-drop steaming on Monkey Till. Wow. And then I met her and kicked in. We hit it off straight away. So like, she changed my life. So like, best thing that ever happened was getting knocked out that 1-drop on day 2, really, which is weird, right?
Yeah, that's a crazy day.
Daniel like messaged me afterwards, because I thought he was just doing it for TV time or something at the time, and I was like baffled why I'd do it. I thought it was friends, but he didn't. He said to me, he messaged me and he said he brain farted and he wasn't thinking, and he apologized. So it was not done intentionally. So he apologized for that. So it was just obviously a brutal experience for the tournament. And then it kind of put me off him a little bit.
I think he ended up taking second. That Dan Coleman won that year. I believe that was 2014.
He was playing as well. Like, he was on my table, but he was playing really. He had a little time frame like I did, where he was just crushing and winning everything and playing well and putting people in tough spots. And everyone has their little time frame in poker, don't they? Sometimes they get ahead of the curve, and what they're doing is working, and it takes people a while to catch up. And looking back, like I said to you before, I was naive. I thought it was going to last forever. And once I got in my head where I was playing at that level, I thought that that was done. And I didn't need to work, and I got complacent. And it's very hard to keep motivation when you think you're at the top of the game, and to keep improving. And this is where I went wrong. I wasn't working on the game. I was just rocking up. People's getting better, and I wasn't. And so then I just decided, if I'm not going to put 110% into it, I'm just going to stop playing these massive high rollers. And that's what I did.
Which do you prefer now? I mean, if cash games, I think more conducive to your lifestyle, just you're not so much commitment. You prefer cash?
I like a mixture of both, to be honest, depending on like how it's been going. I never like doing the same thing too often. Like, so if I'm playing a bunch of tournaments, I often feel like we're playing some cash and mixing it up, and that's like goes the same for my life as well. If I'm playing lots of pool over and over and over, like I like to go, mix up, go play some poker. Or if I'm going to the same restaurant every night, I get bored. If I have Christmas Day at the same place every year, it's repetitive, I get bored. Like, I'll never really go back to the same place. I like new experiences, creating new memories. And so I just dip in and out of cash and tournaments. But generally I do prefer cash games, just because they're more flexible, and I can leave when I want. I like the fact that when you win, you've got money in the bank straight away after you leave. You can leave whenever you want, but I do like the high buying tournaments. Like the big high buying tournaments get me jacked up and excited. And so, like I was saying before, in my early days, I always like to test myself in the biggest games at the biggest stakes. And so when big tournaments come around, like, I'm always looking to dive into those, and they like jack me up and motivate me. But as far as like main events and smaller buying tournaments, like I'm not playing well when I play them. I'm playing for fun because I enjoy poker. I'm like splashing around. I'm trying new things that I haven't tried before just because it's fun. It's almost like practice. But I'm never really playing my best in these lower buy-in tournaments, so I just decided to play less.
Yeah, I'm looking through your Twitter right now. It looks like you were playing around on Party Poker today. Some cash games going. What is a lot of debates about? I just want to get your opinion about HUDs because this has been a big debate. People thought this was gonna end the. It's like, oh, no more poker tracker, no more stuff. But in my mind, I think we've talked about it in brief. But how do you feel online poker, the state is with that, and about Party Poker making those changes for banning HUDs so all players are equal, where there's no information on statistics? You can see the big blind counter, really easy, nice feature on Party Poker. You just click and see how many big blinds you have, which really is super important to calculate quickly. But without having a HUD, do you feel, is this something, did you use a HUD? Are you good with this? Do you care? What are your thoughts on the no HUD and also the alias changing of names for everyone? Obviously, you and I are real names. We're
yeah. I've always had a disadvantage anyway.
Yeah.
But I mean, I like it. I like the changes. I like what they're trying to do. I think pros, the top pros are like crushing so hard these days, and I don't see a reason why these guys should be given more of an advantage than they already have. Like, if they're using software, and generally it's going to be the pros that are using the software. Like, I don't see why they need an advantage when they're already better players than the recreational players. Like, if anything, we should be giving. I get comfy, getting cramp. Yeah, so I just think that it doesn't make much sense. It's killing all the cash games. They have big enough edge anyway, and any software like the recreational players aren't going to be using the Hold'em tracker and the poker tracker and the HUDs, right? And these are if we want poker online to survive, these guys need to lose less often, and but that's not going to be the case while people are using software. So I think it's an important step in the right direction. Whether they can stop it or not, I don't know. It looks like we've done a really good job so far. The games have actually been a bit better. I've been playing them this week. And it just seems like it's a little bit more of a level playing field when people aren't using numbers and programs to make decisions. Goes back down to their own decision rather than just looking at a number and seeing how often you bet the river, in this spot or whatever. So it's I think it's definitely a more level playing field again. But
yeah, I'm with you. I completely with you. Honestly, I think for even someone like yourself or myself who understands HUDs, I've used it in the past, I think it's probably more beneficial for us anyway, because the best people using and dissecting the information, going to flops, turns, rivers, really looking and using the software at a different level, they have a bigger advantage. Since then, I think I've been doing much better in tournaments. I like it more. I don't have to worry about it. I don't have to think about it because I just know everyone's on the same field. To me, that's refreshing. So, I do enjoy that.
If you want businessmen to come back and play and recreational players to come back and play on the site, it's nice for them to know that people aren't using software, because it scares the life out of them. It scares the life out of me a little bit. Do you know what I mean? I play without one, and I'm playing against other players, out there that are already top winning high stakes players, and I'm battling them against them when they have an advantage over me by using software. It's it puts me off playing. So I just think it's great move from Party Poker, and hopefully it should encourage people, businessmen and recreational players to come back and play, knowing that they're not playing against, someone with the software.
Yeah, for sure. Also, the My Game feature now on Party, pretty sweet. It sort of encompasses that with being able to review your hands. It gives you suggestions. It's pretty crazy. I don't know if you've seen the very, very up to late version. It's pretty special. I've done a walkthrough on it, and yeah, I mean, like we said, Rob Young, very innovative. He's doing a lot of stuff. He's making chances. For taking chances, these kind of things, getting rid of bots and doing all these things that actually hurts the bottom line. So it's he just goes for it. You got to respect it.
He's so aggressive. I've known him, how long have I known him? 15 years. He's just so aggressive, and he never seems to surprise me. He's just always smashing around. Every time he makes a guarantee, wants to go bigger the next year. He's just I don't know how he sleeps at night, because if it was me putting this amount of pressure on himself, and I just don't know how to deal with it. But he's one of a kind. He really is. I've never seen someone work so hard as him. And he's passionate about poker as well. And you can see that with his changes. He really cares about the changes he's making. It makes a lot of sense. It's for for the best of the players, best for the businessman, and he just wants to see poker keep growing. And
Yeah,
he's doing that. He's doing it.
I agree. Now they got the 215 Party Million back, which is a big deal. They have the $1 million on Sunday. They're running satellites A, B, C, D throughout the week. Actually, they have an E and then an F turbo flight. And I know on the first one, you could be this message, which we're not going to play it out loud, but basically you could hear it. He wears his heart on his sleeve, and they had a big error. They ended up paying 1.8 million. I think they gave out like around 600,000 to 800,000 extra to the player. So, you gotta feel like, they try to do something great and then it doesn't go super smooth and just goes, make sure that everyone's happy, taken care of. So.
Yeah, and then they have 600K. You got to respect that, right, from any poker site.
Yeah, it's we're in the right spot. I'll say that. I'm very happy.
Yeah.
I'm not going anywhere. I'm here. I know you and I we've been a part of along the years several brands, but I know for sure I'll put this out there. This is it for me. Party poker. I'm here. I'm staying. You can't wipe the smile from my face. I know we speak. We were just chatting about this in London. We have the same sentiments here about Party Poker where we're at. So anyway, if you guys don't know, Party Poker is
they're renewing contracts in January, right?
What's that?
You know they're renewing contracts in January, right? Have they not told you?
No, I didn't hear that.
Yeah, I just want to put it in there. Just it's not looking good. I just don't get too excited. Yeah.
Well, listen, I'll still keep it there, man. I hope you're back.
They are. They did a test the other week to show like they valued all the pros, and they give them like a rating system. And we could see who was like someone valued and who was contributing the most to the site. And they wouldn't show me the list. I was dying to see it. But like, to be fair, mate, I think you're safe. Like what you do for like party poker is almost embarrasses me. You're so good with all this stuff. So
no, I think don't say that. We're on the right team. I think we're good. I hope we're all safe. But either way, I'll keep the sentiments no matter what. My feelings don't change no matter what they feel. So yeah, man. Well, so let's take some questions. I think we've basically broken down. It's honestly, a lot of times, because in my podcasts aren't just poker, but I find it fun to look at players that we do on the through the podcast. Go back, like even this, like looking back at your first ever tournament, taking first, the 100-pound tournament, and kind of the ride, like reliving the dates, the Cape Town, super interesting. The whole journey for you. It wasn't all just straight up. You definitely had some adversity and very interesting, unique stuff. But I do want to look at, I do want to check some of the questions. Is there anything else you want to hit on in particular? I'm going to cover Party Poker, covered your journey. You're married with, all that, how you met, which is crazy. And at the night where one of the worst days, busting $1 million tournament, no matter what, getting a bad beat, getting cooler, getting unlucky, getting slow roll, no matter what it is, doesn't feel good. Burning Man, we talked about. Obviously very special for us. Is there anything else that you want to, check in on, or any other projects you have in particular other than anything that we covered a lot already? So
yeah. I'm happy to just go on and move to the questions. Like I've got a whole bunch of stuff I could speak about, but I don't know. We've covered a lot. Let's get some questions because I know there's a lot of questions on Twitter.
Okay. Also, just quickly to shout out, you will be playing the Millions, the $20 million guaranteed starting December 1st. Are you going to be online playing that? The 10,000 buy-in?
Yeah, I'm already registered. It's day 1A. I'm already registered. That's an exciting event. Like 2.5 million maybe for the winner. So you're serious about poker, that's one event you want to be in. But if you can't afford it, there's loads of satellites as well to try and get into it. So that's something I would be gaming for. I couldn't play it last year. I'm definitely playing this year. Look forward to that. There's it's pretty crazy. I mean, 20 million. It's nice, huh? It's wild. You've got to have the underpants on if you make the final table, right? Just for the story.
Yeah. You got to find a way in there, sell some pieces, do whatever it takes. So, all right, we hit that, covered that. Let's take some questions for Sam. So this is a lot. I don't know if we'll just kind of scroll through. Do you have it up, or I'll just read them out?
Yeah, it's really small on my screen, but you can. I can't see it.
Okay. Well, we kind of already covered this. How long have you been playing officially? Would you say how would you answer when you started? 2003, 4, 5?
When I was probably 18 when I first started playing.
Now? 32.
15 years ago. Yeah, 15 years ago.
You're 33?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Okay. What month your birthday? I think we went over this. Just
July 2nd.
July. Okay, yeah, so we're on the same age. So okay, yeah, so about the exact same time. Brazil or Germany? I don't know what that means. Is that maybe for football if you had to choose a side? Someone wants to know Brazil or Germany. I don't know what that's in reference to.
I've got a lot of German friends. I always respect the Germans. I like the way they do things. It's obviously a great country. I haven't spent much time there, so I don't really know what the question's about. But I would say Brazil just because the weather's better and the football team's better.
Okay, there you go. What was your worst bad beat? Do you have one hand that stands out to you that you'll just never forget? I guess maybe that 2.5 million 2-outer on the river in Macau. Is that?
Yeah, that's the worst one I ever had because I had a massive piece of myself because I was running well. Yeah, I had pocket tens and I've raised. I can't remember the amount, so I'll just say it roughly. But I've raised cut off. I'll not say who was in the hand, but I got 3-bet from the small blind. I called flop come 10, 5, 6 with 2 diamonds. He bet like third pot, and I was like, oh, he's kind of weak. He normally bets big with his bigger hands. Anyway, I just called. The turn was 10, 4, 5. 10, 4, 5. The turn was an 8, so a straight was there, 6, 7. But it was like 2 flush draws there now, and he bet like really big. And I thought, yeah, maybe he's got a flush draw. So I'm going to raise pretty big, so he won't fold if he's got or if he's got an overpair, he'll not fold anyway because he was a pretty special player, to be honest, if he's got any of that. And he looked when he bets this turn as well, when a straight hits, he's probably got a good hand a lot of the time. So I thought I'll just raise him and get the money in now. Hopefully he just jams if he's got an overpair. And if he's got like, ace king suited, I don't think he'll fold anyway because that's what he was like. Right. And I raised massive, and he just called with like 20% of his stack left. And the river was an offsuit, and he just goes all in. And I snap call, and he says to me, do you have a straight? And I said, no. I showed tens, and then he's like, so I got indirectly slow rolled again because when I instantly call, I'm just looking at his reaction, and he just goes, I'm like, yes, boom. Says, do you have a straight? I'm like, no. And he shows me 3 kings, and it was like 2.5 million pound pot back at the time. And I was like, I think I had like 50% of myself in that pot, so it was like absolutely spewing. And then like 3 minutes later, I had ace 9 on 9, 10, 3, check flop, turns a 9, load of money went in. The river was an ace, so I had ace and 9. He had tens, so I was like got absolutely buried in 10 minutes with these 2 ridiculous hands. So that was like the lowest point in my poker career for sure. And I was like, I just quit and looked out the window for about 12 hours, depressed in Macau.
Damn, that's not a good. I
played a big pot like that as well. I'd never played like big pots like that for cash money, and it was just like brutal. That was literally the worst bit I ever had.
That's definitely not fun. That's grotesque. Okay, so there it is. There's a couple. Do you have a couple favorite poker players of all time, or growing up when you started? Was there who kind of players do you always kind of look up to? Like, man, that's cool, or I love like this. Like, did there any that stand out as sort of when you first started playing that you just like looked up to or wanted to be like?
Patrick was one of them. Yeah, I looked at Patrick Antonius. He was from a sporting background. Nice guy, friendly guy, played well. He played cash games well. He was really good in cash. I always respected the cash players more, to be honest. Tournaments, there's a lot of luck, and it's a bit more of a simpler version of poker. Like it's, like you see people with not much experience and just generally aggressive do well in tournaments a lot of the time. But in cash games is a lot more deeper stack situations, and this is like the best part of my game as well. Like turns and rivers, I play a lot better, and I think it's more complex bluffs, more challenging. Like you're getting spots that you've never been into too often. Whereas like pre-flop and flops, which is a lot of tournament poker, is like very similar situations, and it's more simple. And so I much prefer the cash games, and because he was such a great cash game player, that's the guy I looked up to the most.
Okay, makes sense. Definitely a good choice. How long do you see yourself playing poker? Is this something you see yourself doing forever, or is this like just kind of going with the flow? Like, is this something you see yourself a whole life playing poker, the same amount, less, always a little bit? What's your thought on longevity in poker for you?
I don't think too far ahead. Like, I'm still enjoying it. I love poker. Like, I'll always enjoy playing and the challenge of it. I enjoy high stakes, but not as much as I used to. Like, I used to get kicks out of it. I used to like challenging myself and pushing myself. But now once you get a little bit older, like you've got like an amount of money you're comfortable with, it's like you don't want to take as risk as the upside's not as bad as the downside if you start smashing into big games and put yourself under pressure again. So like if I'm honest, I'm taking my foot off the gas a little bit with the high stakes scene, playing private games and playing party poker stops, and I enjoy going to a tournament, seeing friendly faces. I've got a lot of friends on the tour, and, just playing a few high rolls here and there, playing a bit of cash on the side. And I can't see it ending anytime soon because I'm enjoying it. But when I'm not enjoying it anymore, that's when I'll start looking elsewhere, because I always want to do something I enjoy. And right now I'm enjoying it, so I don't see me stopping anytime soon.
Right. Okay. Yep. That's. I'm with you on that. When did you realize that you could become a professional player? When did you know this was a viable career for you? Excuse me.
After obviously, before I quit my job, I was thinking about it when I was like building a bit of money up, making more money from poker than I would do for like a month at work. So it was then I was getting the idea to do it, but then I was like still trying to like save some money up on the side with my wages. And then I just decided to take a shot. So it was like when I was probably 21, that's when I like quit my job and really went for it and attacked it. And that was a huge risk. But if it went wrong, I was happy. I still had like a job I could go back to, and I could work for myself and make some money. So it was like I had a bit of a safety net with having some experience working. So it was a little bit easier to take the risk when I had a safety net of going back to being a gas engineer, if you like.
Definitely. Which do you consider your most important achievement in poker? Which thing specifically?
I guess I would say that the hardest thing I did was going broke, losing everything, figuring out why, and picking myself back up from rock bottom and building it up. Like that's the thing I'm most proud of, because a lot of people would give up when they've gone through what I've gone through, and it was really difficult times. And and everyone around me told me not to do it. Like my bank manager, my dad, everyone was saying to like quit, stop, and you're never going to make any money. You're a gambler. And I just had to ignore everyone all the time. And like if you're like disagreeing with what everyone says, and everyone's telling you just to quit, and you're the only person that believes you can do it, sometimes it can like affect your confidence and make you question yourself. But the fact that I never question myself is something I'm the most proud of, because there was plenty of opportunity where I could have quit and could have gave up, but I truly believed in myself, and that's probably the thing I'm the most proud of. And if you're talking about results, I'd have to say Partouche, just because I think a main event's harder to win than say a high roller with 48 players in. So I would say the Partouche is my highlight of my career, but like the thing I'm most proud of in my career is never giving up when it went well, and learning from mistakes and just sticking with it.
Beautiful. Yeah, absolutely. Will there ever be a Sam Trickett autobiography? Someone asked this from the chat live here, said, I would love to have it. I read Devilfish's. It was great, but Sam's would be awesome. Would you do a book? Would you write a book? Would you, the story of Sam, I mean, it's got some there's some stuff there, right? There's
a lot of stuff there that people would be very, very surprised about. My lifestyle, my upbringing, how it nearly went wrong before poker. I'd like a whole bunch of stuff. And like someone's been on to me for like 3 or 4, 5 years now, trying to get me to do a book, and he wants to make the book into a film. But yeah, I don't know. Like I like to have my private life, and I just question like how it'll. If my kids grow up and see it. So there's some stuff in there that I'm not too sure I'd want to say. There's my private life, some stuff's happened to me like with my family that it's been difficult, and I don't know if I'm ready to talk about it yet. And I wouldn't want to do it unless I like told the whole story. Like I don't want to do 70% of the story and leave out the whole story, because it's just not a true story then. So I have thought about it some. I even started a little bit of it. And then when it got to the nitty-gritty part of the book, I was like, oh, screw this. I don't think it's good. But maybe one day, like, it's something that I don't think about too often, but people have approached me about doing a book. But, like, now's not the time, I think. Maybe, like, later down the line, I might be willing to do it. But I don't know.
Okay, great. How confident do you feel about the future of online poker?
More confident than I did, 6 months, a year ago. Before Rob decided he wanted to attack these games and try and build them back up. It looked like it was dead. It was declining. PokerStars was declining. you know, and if they're declining, it's a tough task to get them to build on Partypoker because they're, you know, the #1 site, and they couldn't even get it right. So it was worrying, to be honest, especially with all the software and the robots coming out, artificial intelligence. It was like really worrying. But like, so the only way you could really start building back up again is just to do what, you know, Rob Young's trying to do at Partypoker, to make people feel safe on the line, on the internet, online, and just try and prevent people using the software and robots, and know that you're playing against a person, which is why he brought in real names, and just to make people feel safe. And I think he's already done a good job of that with those changes. There's some more changes coming up soon that people don't know about. I'm not sure if I can speak, so I won't say anything. But there's a lot of positive changes coming that I believe in. I've had some ideas myself that we're going to use, and I'm really excited about it. Actually, I think we've got a shot at it. Some fresh ideas that's never been done before. The anti-tables are coming back in. Run It Twice will be coming back in. Obviously, all that stuff's been done before, but like, there's some fresh ideas too that I'm really excited about. And I think it's just something that doesn't happen online that happens in live poker. Is people don't arrange games. Like, people don't speak and be like, let's play tonight at 8 o'clock, or see you, you know, like you do it live, or see you at the casino at 8 o'clock, we'll play. And you arrange games, and we haven't got a platform to speak and arrange games. And this is something I want to build, is like either, you know, an integrated online chat for all the players to arrange games and speak and build relationships. So that's something we're discussing. Whether it happened or not, I don't know. It's a lot of work, but if not, I'm going to try my best to like arrange games with people that have their numbers through meeting them on the high stakes scene. And I'm going to put a lot of effort into like arranging games and saying at a certain time. I'm going to try and bring some players to the games as well. And it would just be nice if players would give me a bit of help as well with starting games. Like, I often see players now, I sit down at 25-50, there's just no one's playing, they're all waiting, you know, and it's not good. Like, I think what they need to learn is look at the bigger picture. Like, if they want to get in good games and they want to even improve, like sitting around and playing, you know, a bunch of players that aren't plus EV for them, but like they might be just a guy just drop in and play if the game's running. Cards are in the air, you know, it's a big thing. It's important, and it's, you know, I just wish people would be more open-minded and not be so anal about every single EV in the game. And if we could just encourage people to just play longer sessions and wider range of hands, that would be great. This is something else I'm going to do. I'm going to try and build a promotion where like the person with the highest VPIP will like win a prize or has a leaderboard. So I haven't put too much thought into it but that would be really nice, just to encourage people to want to play more hands and then incentivize to play more hands, which should make the games more fun and better. And then if you've got like an integrated chat going on, it's like it would get a little bit more like a live game, where it's like a little bit community sort of aspect, community sort of vibe. And yeah, just try and make it a little bit more fun, a bit more enjoyable. People play more hands, people chatting, people like discussing, showing each other bluffs, you know, and building relationships with the players. So I kind of know them a little bit more.
Yeah, same thing. Don't think, not supposed to spoil, but there is major news, like legitimately going to be some very, I think, eye-opening stuff coming here shortly. And I mean, Partypoker's already done this in a lot of spots and genres, but there is going to be some cool stuff coming up here very, very soon. So, you know, keep
yeah, there's a lot. We're trying our best. We understand at the minute that the current market's dying, it's declining. So we're trying our best to fix it. But so any fresh ideas that anyone has, just obviously come and speak to me or message me on Twitter as well, because I'm always open to hearing new ideas. But that's what I've kind of come up with so far, and there's some other stuff that, you know, I'll not bring up right now. But yeah, so I'm pretty excited. Hopefully this can change and improve it a little bit.
Definitely. Is there a player that you would fight in a boxing match for charity? Does anyone come to mind when you think boxing? And this seems to be a trend. People, Antonio fought Hart. You see Olivier Bousquet and JC Alvarado, Elke and Lex, these things like this. Box Mizzy and Rast. Do you have who would you box if you had to box someone?
You know what? It's like, we've been doing this as friends, and I've even spoke about this for years, saying that this should be a program or a show, or you should like get matchups from celebrities to fight each other, because people would watch it. And we used to do it. So in England, back where I'm from, all the boys would on Boxing Day would agree to fight each other, and we'd like match each other up. And some of them had never boxed before, and some of them had boxed, so we'd match them all up like equally and fairly. And we used to go out, box each other in the morning, and then afterwards go out drinking and see the day off. But like the pre-match banter, people used to rock up. We'd be like, you know, 100 people just rock up at this small gym to watch friends fight each other. People enjoyed watching it, and it was hilarious. It was funny. It was almost like the worse you was at boxing, the more funny it was. Watching like a couple of fat guys fighting each other, like swinging and putting their head down a windmill. And you know, so now to see that they're going that way with the sporting with Eddie Hearn, I think it's great. And Carl Froch actually said something to me the week at the table. You know, when I tweeted, just knocked out Carl Froch. Not many people could say they've done that. And he said, "You realise that can start a fight? Would you up for doing it as a payday?" I'm like, "No way, mate." Yeah.
That wouldn't
better than that.
Wouldn't want to him.
But yes, the person I want to fight is Andrew Feldman. He's not in poker anymore, but like, if you can class him as a poker player, I would love to punch him.
Is he? He used to play, right? He's from the UK. He doesn't play anymore?
Yeah, he's from the UK. Guy that ripped me off. Yeah, and then he just ditched poker and got out. It like really upsets me. But like, I don't think about it too much anymore because there's no point.
He ripped me off. He's from money.
Yeah, we was friends and borrowed a bunch of money and then just left and said he's not paying me so far. I can't think of too many people I'd want to punch, but like he's one of them in the ring.
Interesting. I remember seeing him on some of those old shows. Yeah, they would come up or Party Poker. I read that name. It sounds familiar. I can picture him barely. But all right, fair enough. What was your record back then on these friendly match days? Did you do well in your boxing career?
So I fought the same guy twice. The first fight we had like such a good fight, and it went to the death that like we made us fight each other again. But we built up so much respect him as friends. The second fight was kind of disappointing for everyone. It's almost too much respect there, and it's like once you get to a point, I didn't really want to like try and kill him again. Like with obviously first time there was a bit of rivalry there because we'd had an argument and was trying to kill each other. But the second time was a bit more friendly. We drew twice, but like so I've never won and I've never lost. I only had 2 fights.
All right, fair. There you go. Yeah. So the great question. This actually, there was some serious some information here. I didn't realize that. That's cool though. Are you excited, given how much you have won? How do you get yourself excited to play events between 1K and 5K? This was, actually we were together recently in Nottingham at Dusk Till Dawn. We were both, I played that day 1 and 2 online. I flew over and played. You were there at the event and you actually went deep. I think you got around 20th or so. I got around 30th. And one of those WPT, it was 3,300 buy-in. How do you get excited? Because I think we were talking a bit about this. Like it was almost like refreshing for you in a way because the play is definitely less serious. There's less tanking. It's kind of more fun. You get to build chips. Field size. How do you feel though? Like when you go and say, I'm going to go play at 3K, how does that work for you?
Depends what mood I'm in and what I've got going on away from the table. Sometimes, like if I've got massive high stake cash games on and I go play the main event, I never normally play well and I don't get excited. I don't look forward to it. I just play it because, try and run up a stack mentality and go from there. But so more often than not, I don't run up a stack. I just play bad. But if I've got nothing going on, if I bust a tournament, I'll focus and try and go deep. And that's kind of like what happens sometimes with Dusk Till Dawn because there's not massive high stake cash games there. Every now and then I'll be focused and I don't focus enough, but when I do, it's like I tend to play my best if I, hyper focus. But like it's very hard to get excited for like a 3K or a 5K, knowing that the min cash is like 10K. And you've got to play for 2 days, and then I'm playing cash games where the blinds are sometimes that. So it's hard to play my best, and I'm not saying that I do get excited. So I don't try and get excited ever about playing poker. Just try and always remain calm. So I'm always just I'm not really trying to get too attached emotionally to like play before I play anyway.
Right. Yeah, for sure. That's a good way to do it. If not poker, then what? What would Sam be doing if you were not in poker? What do you think you would be up to in your life?
I think I'd be like a football manager or a football coach or involved in sports somehow. I just love football. It's my first passion. So it's something, and that path obviously I can't play anymore because I've snapped all my cruciate ligament up. But it'd be nice to be involved and still feel a part of the game, involved in the changing room banter. It's like the day-to-day. It's quite a healthy lifestyle. So something like that, or it's just anything that I'm passionate about, like maybe DJing as well. Like I do a bit of DJing anyway. I love music more than anything. It's like one of my favorite things to do now is just listen to really nice music, go out and have a dance. Like I like to dance now. I never really used to dance, but now I really like to let off some steam when I go out dancing, and it's super enjoyable. So maybe even like
she's a DJ now or part time. She's done some gigs. I saw her practicing when we were over there in the UK as well, and getting ready.
Yeah. She winds me up saying she's better than me. It does wind me up too. Yeah, it winds me up that she compared herself to me. I'm like, why are you comparing yourself to me for? We're on the same team. Yeah, but she's good. She's really good. She's gone really well since she's had people reaching out for her from Australia, Vegas, all over, trying to ask them if they would play there already, and she's just started out. So I'm really proud of her. She's putting a lot of work on the decks, and she's got her gigs, and it's paid off. And when she did play, it went really well. The club she was just warming up, so it was like her first time she did it. But she's still got a decent amount of people dancing, which is hard to do in an empty club. So she's already, they've asked her to play New Year's Eve on the second tier gig, so she's moving up. They're really happy with her, so she's moving in the right direction. I couldn't be more proud, to be honest.
That's awesome. The documentary you had, so Simon Baker on Twitter saying your documentary on YouTube is awesome. What's your biggest accomplishment in poker, and what accomplishments has he yet to do? We sort of talked about the second part of that, but tell me a little about that documentary on YouTube that was done. So that was about the 1 million. I think I've seen this.
Yeah, they just started doing this documentary. I think it was going really well back then, and I was getting a lot of attention in the media. Cameras was on me quite a lot, and Poker Farm wanted to do, and Matchbook, wanted to do a documentary leading up to the $1 million buy-in, because it was the biggest tournament ever. So they did a lot of recordings before filming, before the event, how I felt, watch me buy in for the money. It was almost like they knew I was going to do well. They had a good feeling that I was going to do well, so they recorded it in case I did do well. And then it nearly got the fairy tale ending with me winning it. That would have been gold. But the second place finish and winning 10 million was enough to make the documentary watchable and exciting. And it nearly went on TV. The Channel 4 and ITV and the BBC all said they would do it. They said it was a little bit too niche, so could they just add some extra content in there? But by the time we decided whether we was going to move forward with it, I parted ways with Matchbook, and it just never really came off. But yeah, it was quite popular. I got a few people message me about it. I enjoyed doing it, really, because it's like you said before, I don't really talk about my past and my results and my poker too much. As people ask, I kind of keep the details to a minimum and never really go back like I have done today, all the way back to Cape Town. I never really speak about it like that. That's why it was hard remembering the dates and stuff earlier. So it's nice to have that little videos, just so I can watch it if I want to and show my kids one day. It's nice to have it and something I'm proud of.
For sure. Yeah, it's cool. No, it is. I mean, that's why I like podcasts, why I like vlogging, Twitch, all that. It's nice to have some kind of it depends. It depends what you're looking for, but it's almost like a journal. It's nice to have some sort of record. It depends on how you look at it. Some people like it, some people don't. But that is like you said, that could be really interesting to do a book or something one day if you do decide you want to go and dive fully into it.
I've got a lot to tell. People would be surprised. So I've got a lot to tell, and it's just whether I want to tell it or not. So I'll keep thinking about it and make a decision later down the line. But for now I'm just gonna stay put.
For sure. Do you have any goals for 2020? Anything? Do you do that? Do you write goal setting down? Do you go Phil Helmy positivity on them? Do you have your whole list, or how do you deal with goal setting, and do you go future stuff? Do you just take what comes, or how do you sort of go about it?
Yeah, I don't really have short-term goals. I always have a vision of where I want to be, kind of in 5 years. This is something I've always done, a vision of what I want, where I want to be in 5 years. And then all my other decisions, subconsciously, just are made based on trying to get to that point. But I don't really have any short-term goals I want to win a bracelet, or next year, or I want to win X amount of money. Because in poker, it's you're often going to set yourself up to fail these goals, and it couldn't be based on anything that you do, because it's just a lot of luck. So it could I don't want to set myself goals where I could fail, and because it doesn't feel nice if you fail when you set goals and fail. So I like to just have a vision of where I want to be, and just keep moving forward towards that vision. And that's how I've always done it. I've always done it from when I was younger, just looking 5 years down the line, and 5 years, maybe, I don't know exactly 5 years, but just roughly in my head. But don't really have any goals. I haven't got much in my life that I want to do that I haven't done, if I'm honest. I want to have a family with Mika next. But it's other than that, I've done a lot of traveling. So I don't really know. But winning a bracelet would be nice as well. Yes, but it's not something I'm striving towards, to be honest. I just want to be happy and enjoy and spend my time, make good memories with my good friends and family, and just enjoy my life as much as I can, basically.
For sure. What was your biggest gamble flip? Do you remember? Did you ever do like a 50-50 just with a friend, or it could have been maybe a flip in a poker hand? But do you have like they're asking what's your biggest flip?
No,
I'm sure you obviously some ace king.
I'm not as sick as some of them. I'm just trying to think now. Like I've done a lot for like 50K, 50K, and I've done a lot of like 50K 6-handed ones. They're quite nice, juicy. Yeah, but I definitely go past like say 50K because it just gets silly. But it's yeah, I'm not a sicko. Like I've got friends who flip huge, but it's never really been my style, to be honest.
50K will get the juices going though. That's good.
Yeah.
Very serious question here. What shampoo do you use?
There's my wife. What do you want? Okay, yeah, I'm doing this podcast. All right, darling. Hey, I'll be down soon in a bit anyway. All right. Yeah, what did you ask me?
Very serious. Shampoo. What do you use for shampoo? They want to know.
Shampoo. Do you know what? I use this natural, no chemicals product. Do you want me to go get it? I'll show you.
Oh, that's all right. That's all right.
I want to do it to show everyone to get it because it's like it's got no chemicals in it. I forget the name of it, but like I'm really into like what I put in my body and on my body is like I'm like all about natural and organic stuff. And I use this one that's like brilliant, to be fair. And it's just I don't know what the name is, but it's all organic and natural.
Nice. That's good. That's clean. Look, that answers itself. It doesn't really matter. It's that guys keep it clean out there. That's the way to do it. What is your favorite TV series? Do you guys have a show that you like to?
Yeah, do you know what? Game of Thrones was, but I just couldn't help but be disappointed with the last season. Like they really messed it up for me, and it was like annoying, and it just like so that, you know, based on that, I would say Breaking Bad, just because the way it finished, I was fully satisfied, and I walked away like almost clapping. But like there's some episodes in Game of Thrones that are the best, you know, hour TV shows that I've never seen. So there's a split between those two really. But so I'd have to say Breaking Bad.
That was mine as well. I do love the ending. The Game of Thrones, I saw someone wearing a Halloween costume and they said it was a trash bag with the GOT sign on it. It was like blasting. Pretty funny. But yeah, that's all right. So we're lying there. Breaking Bad, that's a good, strong show. Someone's your favorite team, right? Someone's asking about football. Man United, I believe that's your squad. Someone asked, do you still play football? Which is your favorite team? And do you think you'll never play poker if that sad knee injury never happened? So Miguel is very aware of your path here. Asking that.
I still love Man United. I always love Man United, although right now it's a little bit depressing. We're really struggling. There's, you know, our biggest rivals are number 1 and 2 in the league, so it's, well, the 4th and 2, but they're the 2 best teams in the world right now. So it's very extremely difficult being a Man United fan at the minute. But I still love football. I watch, you know, most games every night of the week, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. If the football's on, I'll be watching it. So I can watch any game. I just enjoy watching the game. I do miss it. I can't play anymore. I was playing five-a-side a little bit, and I started getting good, picking up the game again and getting, but then I just get injuries, and it would just literally be my knee every single time. And the doctor said to me, like, if you keep going, you may end up in a wheelchair. So I decided to just knock it on the head and give up and just try and watch it now. It's sad that the way things worked out, when actually it's probably the luckiest I ever got was my cruciate ligament snapping, because then I did find poker, I was searching for something else, whereas I probably would have been searching or looking for something else to do if I'd never got injured. So I'm really lucky the way all things worked out like that, because I don't think I would have made as much money and been as happy and done as well as I have at football as I have at poker.
Absolutely. And we'll take a couple more and then we're going to shut it down. It's been a bunch of stuff here. I know you got, it looks like wifey's calling down there too, so we'll try to
get asking what I want for tea. That's just some. We're on a huge health kick. The way we eat right now, we're like probably 80% vegan right now. You know, and like when we go out to do dinner for a meal, we'll just kind of eat what we want, but we kind of stick into it. And so it's like it's not as easy every night to find something fresh and new to eat when you're a little bit more limited in what you can eat. So she's asking me what I want for something to eat.
That's awesome. Yeah, no, it's good. I'm with you too. I'm trying to cut it back as well. I don't know if I can go cold turkey, vegan or vegetarian, but I'm trying to. I don't think you have to. I think that's where people go wrong, right? They just think you have to be like all or nothing. Like you just don't have to be anything. You can just do your own diet, what suits you. You know what I mean? You could eat chicken on a Friday if you want. Do you know what I mean? And never again. Yeah, that's moderation is key. I think that's exactly right.
Yeah, balance.
from 3 meals a day to 0, but maybe you go like a couple days a week, or
I've never felt better, if I'm honest. I know everybody says it, but I've never felt better. Like, since I've done it, I did like 3 months. I've done no red meat for like 12 months, and then like no meat for like 6 months, and then trying to do vegan last couple months. And I've never felt better. So much energy, sleep better, and it's like I access memory better, and I think quicker, and it's just it's a life changer for me. And it's like I think in time I'll end up like full vegan.
Right. Yeah, it's that. I'm with you on that. Trying to get on that path. We got someone also that knows about wifey spinning. Says, is Sam worried that his wife will become a superstar DJ and he will have to play less poker?
No, not at all. So basically, me and my wife never argue, right? We just never had any sort of argument. The only thing I ever argued about was getting her to do something. I wanted her to do something for herself, so she was less dependent on me. Like, she was an actress and a model, but it dried up a little bit. Reality TV kind of killed it for actresses, so she was a bit unlucky there with timing. So she needed something to do, and she loved music. We both love music together, so I was pushing her to do DJing, actually, pushing her to do it, and she finally did it, and it's like after 4 years of arguing, she finally went and did it, and she's doing it really well as well. So I'm actually the opposite. I'm feeling like extremely proud. It was worth all the arguments, always pushing her into trying to do it, and she's doing it now, and she's like crushing. So it's like, no, I'm actually like rooting for her and want her to be a superstar DJ, and then I can go around the world with her, and she can make some dough as well. They make big money, those DJs. So she can put some food on the table for us. That'd be quite nice.
Yeah, that's true. That'd be a good scenario. Not a question. Just wanted to tell Sam my wife got a whole lot more interested in watching poker when he was in the game, which means I got to watch more. Poker. So someone just giving you a shout out there. That's nice. Giving some credit. Someone asking about, what do you think about bots in online games? And do you think it's a big problem in poker? How can we fight with the bots? This is something we kind of we got into, so we covered that. But
less software, the better, basically, and we're just doing all we can at Partypoker to try and stop that.
Yeah, and then question here: what would Sam say was his breakthrough moment or time period of his poker career? I think if you look back, we did cover this basically with the staking or getting staked and then going to Vegas, hitting the score that time.
Yeah, okay. So
did cover that. There's a question in Russian. I don't speak that. How many times have you busted your roll at the beginning of your career? So at least you said kind of once in theory, but was it a one-time deal or?
No, that was like the biggest roll I bust. Like, so I got from like 0 up to 300 or something, and then I bust that all. That was like what I consider like busting my roll. So I've got up to like 10K a few times and bust it, and I've done that a few times, like up to 5K and bust it. But I didn't really look at that as like a roll. I was always like trying to make more than that from the game. So I went bust a few times, learning from mistakes, and then when I bust the 300K, that was when I really learned my lesson. And that's when I went to Cape Town. And to be honest, I always said to my friends after I made money, I'll never go broke ever again. And they always like, you can't say that. You just don't know. You can't say that. And all my friends are a bunch of degenerates. I thinking no chance. They think that I'm more of a degen than I am. But I learned a lot about bankroll management and that downfall. And I always say that I'll never go broke again, because it was horrible, man. Like, I remember going to go buy trainers and I couldn't afford £50 pair of trainers. My bank card got declined, and I was like, what the hell have I done here? And so I couldn't have these trainers. And this was like, I was 21 and I had 300K in the bank, and now I couldn't afford trainers. So it was really grounding, and it taught me a lot. So I forget even the question now, but I think hopefully I covered it.
Yeah, no, just talking about how many times you busted your roll.
Yeah, loads, many, but like the big one, 300K, and then since Cape Town, never really looked back. I've never really, been close, to be honest.
For sure. Someone asked, what do you think of the millions online? That's the 10, 20 million guaranteed, 10K buy-in. Thoughts on that?
Lovely, yeah. Like we were saying before earlier, if you can get into a tournament with 10K and win 2.5 million, it's fantastic value. So like, I'd recommend it to anyone to try and get in there whatever way you can, whether it's staking, playing satellites. Just try and figure your way in, because you never know. Like, you've got to be in it to win it, and I'm going to be in it, and I'm already registered, so I'm excited about that one. So it's that one gets you. You don't have to try and get excited for that one. That one just gets you excited with 2.5 up top.
On a tournament like that, or just in general, what's your sort of I forgot to ask you this. What's your online about tables you like to play? Because when like a 10K, that kind of event, it's so special. There's so much money on the line. Was that something you'd one table? Will you fire some cash games on the side? Will you play the schedule for that day when you're online? How do you look? What's your Sunday schedule, or how do you like to play when you play tables online?
Yeah, I've never really played. Like, I've never really been an online Sunday grinder, like where I've got like 10 tables up. I've done it like from time to time, but it's never really been me. Like, just played like, really late until the early morning, and I didn't really enjoy it. But when I do, like, I tend to play like 6 or 7 tournaments. I just pick all the high buy-in tournaments and play those. And if I've got like a couple of tables left, sometimes I'll open some cash games as well, just to keep me busy. But yeah, so with that one, it'll be the same. What if there's any other big buy-in tournaments going on the side, which I'm sure Partypoker will be doing, I'll open those up and play those as well, because might as well if I'm playing anyway.
For sure. And let's do a couple more, and then we'll let you get your tea and wifey time.
Right,
better live or online?
Live, yeah, I'm a lot better live. Deep stack, I'm better at deep stack poker. So it depends really. Like when stats get deep online, I can also play that well. But when stats get deep live, this is like my strength. On turns and rivers is where I've always seemed to make the best decisions. Pre-flop and flop is my weakest part of my game. So like any game where I'm like deep stacked is where I'm better. But I would say live, just because I've learned a lot with live poker, like tells and things like that. Because what I've learned is like I do a lot of the stuff that people do now. Like I used to do it. So like whatever it is, whether it's a movement, whether it's a way you put chips in, or whether it's something you said to try and get reaction, like because I've had so much experience that I used to do that stuff, and I remember what I wanted to gain by saying it, and then like I stopped doing all this stuff and try and be as consistent as possible. I remember them doing it now. So it's like all little things like that I feel like I've got an advantage with when I play live. Like I can still see people making mistakes that I made years ago. So I would say that just because I could use that experience to the advantage.
Yep. It's okay. Yeah, I agree. Online's kind of fun because you can play a lot at once or whatever. It's less work to travel and the whole thing. But the allure or the live events or playing at a live table with the chips and the whole,
more information live, isn't it? There's just more information.
Yeah, it's more engaging. It's what poker. Yeah, it's cool. But both are fun. It's nice to have options. What is the happiest day in your life? May it be related to poker or not? Ooh.
It was a day I proposed to my wife. Yeah. She wasn't expecting it at all. I'd never thought that I'd ever get married. It was a bit weird. My parents never got married, and I never thought I'd get married. So it was all new to me, and it was exciting. Like I've never really had like a connection like this with someone where she actually made me feel happy. Felt like I was no longer searching for stuff. Yeah, so I met her and I blew her away. Did a really nice proposal for her. Flew all the friends out as a surprise on the beach, and like really went really well. We partied it all to the early hours of the morning. It was like seemed like the longest day, and it was just literally the best. It was just slightly better than my wedding day. My wedding day was also fantastic, but the element of surprise on her face and like that sort of like wave of energy that we rode through the night was just like electric. And yeah, that stands out for me as my favorite day.
Nice, that's awesome. Do you have any tips on bankroll management as you would have changed or done differently with hindsight in mind?
Kelly's criteria is like a good one. Like I don't know if you know about that. It's like only risking 5% of your bankroll in any given spot, and then obviously reducing as you lose to it. So always 5%. So you could like look up that on the internet. Kelly's criteria. Like I'll explain it to you. That's always a solid one. So I'm kind of like close to that a lot of the time now. And then I just feel safe and protected. But like sometimes I take risks depending if the spot's good or not. But yeah, just don't. Like, if you want to just simplify it, just say don't bet an amount of money where it's going to like change your mood if you lose. So, like if you get attached to your results and it's going to like change your mood significantly, if win or lose, like it's probably not a good sign. You're probably betting too big.
Yeah, I'd say the Kelly criterion I'm definitely aware of and try to keep it. Sometimes things do change quickly, but it's good to get it back.
Again, you get stuck. You're like, fuck Kelly's criteria. It's hard to stick to it, but I can't always say that I broke the rules in my head, but it was just making sense to me at the time when I was doing it.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, well, we are. I think that should do it. Let's see if we maybe missed. I'm just scan through quickly, and then we're gonna give away one $55 ticket away. Let me just copy and paste this, and then we'll let Sam tell us when to spin. So we got over Yeah, it's close to the most, over 90 questions. Actually, I do believe that's a record. I think we did cover, I'm just going to go through quickly because we covered a lot of them, most of them. Some of the questions.
Do a few more if you want, if you haven't done enough. Don't worry about my tea and everything like that, if that's what you're worrying.
All right.
Is there anyone you want to ask? What's this guy with Stone Cold Steve Austin milk? What's that all about?
He's saying let's that's on Twitch. That was for a live now yesterday. He's just saying let's do it. Like let's have a good day. I think let me find the actual question because I lost the thing here. This was okay. This is the thing here. That was a separate thing. Let me see. Let's do one more and then we'll do the copy this. We'll do the $55 tweets giveaway. This is a record. It's officially the most questions I think on a podcast. So we did cover a lot of these. Sport. What kind of sports to distract? Do you take a break from poker? Do you, I guess maybe watching? Do you watch? It's mostly Premiership stuff, or?
Yeah, I used to go to the gym a lot more than I do. Since I've been married, I've been a bit more laid back. But like I was just speaking about this just recently. But I started doing climbing. Like freestyle climbing. That's really good fun, challenging. I enjoyed that, so I might start getting into that. And I'm just trying to find things to do outside of the gym. Like it gets a bit repetitive, but like, and I like to challenge myself. So like, I've done climbing. Rollerblading is something that like I might get back into. It sounds ridiculous, but like I used to rollerblade at quite a high level and go to the parks and everything. That was enjoyable. And I went to Santa Monica recently, and you got there's rollerblading people down the beach, and it made me think that I wanted to get the rollerblades back up. So that might be something I need to do. But I do need to try and get back into some more exercise that I enjoy rather than just going to the gym.
Did you see Antonio there?
No, I was going to, but I was with another couple, and he invited me to his house for tea, but I told him he was with another couple, and he was like, "Oh, it might be difficult." So I was like, "Whatever." I was with his friends, and I wasn't exactly going to leave them. So, I've seen it plenty of times, and there'll be more opportunity in the future. But I just wanted to chill out after Burning Man.
Next time you're there, though, definitely got to go. He's got this crazy Burning Man carriage that he rides around on the lights and does this whole. It's like an electric car, but it's it's like a chariot thing. You gotta see it. There, he's out of his mind, but he's got a nice
he does it well, doesn't he? He does do it well, so you can't blame him.
Remember us and others playing frisbee in Punta Cana? That was fun. From Enrique. Do you remember playing frisbee in Punta Cana?
Yeah, I do. Punta Cana is always great. Like, it's one of my favorite stops. I'm disappointed I can't go this year, but yeah, I do remember across the pool diving in and catching it, and those footballs there, and that's what poker's all about for me. Like building relationships away from the table, like having that sort of like community sort of feeling towards the game as well, and it feels like you're a part of something rather than just sitting there trying to get the next guy's money, because it doesn't always make you feel nice when you're just sitting there chatting to a guy and you're trying to get his money, but like. So it's not the best way to make your money at times. So when you spend time away from the table and you build relationships and friendships, and it's nice, and it's the more stuff like that, the merrier for me.
Absolutely. Two more good ones I see here. Do you ever gamble on casino games? If yes, what was your biggest bet? Do you ever fire in the pits?
I've not. I've been in the pits a little bit, but I've never really gone off for too much. No more than like 50K or something like that. But like when I play sports, like I've had 100 on sports a few times, and I've gone off for I've won all my biggest bets. My biggest bet was Floyd Mayweather to beat Conor McGregor, and I just bet like an absurd amount of money on that one because it just seemed like the most obvious spot ever. So that was the biggest I went off by one, and I've been quite lucky to win a lot of my big presses. But yeah, I'll have some bets here and there, but every night it gets addictive though, man. So it's like I start off betting and then progressively get bigger and bigger, and before I know it, I'm firing big bets off again, and it's not something like I really want to get in the habit of doing because I'm obviously not a favorite. So it's like something I enjoy doing. It makes the game a little bit more excited, but I'm trying to cut that stuff out, to be honest, just because if I'm honest, I don't enjoy it like I used to enjoy it. I used to like betting massive, and I got like a buzz out of it. Like I bet a large amount, and I got a buzz. But now I don't like that sense of being out of control. Like I'm more like being in control now. So now when I make the bet, I'm like, what am I doing? Like the game's on, and I'm not enjoying it because I'm just feeling guilty about making a large bet. Like the guilt kicks in now. It's almost like I'm getting smarter. Whereas before, like I needed the buzz. So I don't even enjoy it as much as I do. So I've toned it right down now, and I just bet quite small, just for fun.
Okay. And then the last one is, are you happy in this modern world? It's an interesting way to put it, but do you need more? Are you happy with your current situation? Do you have something you're striving for? Have you've done a lot of what you want to accomplish, or is there another kind of thing you want to tackle, another area, or just in the world?
I feel a bit overwhelmed with like how my life turned out, coming where I've come from and being through what I've been through. And it's like, it is overwhelming. Like my wife's a great person. She's the best person I've ever met, and I just feel lucky that I've got to spend my life with this person that I've met. And she's changed everything for me. I used to be searching and chasing, and my insecurities from a kid was probably what drove me to be as successful as I was. And now she's like filled that void, if you like, and I've kind of not as motivated to prove myself or compete at the highest levels as I once wanted to. So I've lost my motivation a little bit. I'm just super content. Like, I don't really need much. I've got everything in life I need, and I don't need any more money than I've got. And it's nice to make more, but like also I want to do things that I enjoy now and try and give back with like some of the money that I've made and do things that are more fulfilling than outside of poker. Like, this poker's good for like playing the tournaments and challenging yourself, and the tour's good fun. But like, it's been nice to give back somewhere else as well, where that's really rewarding and fulfilling. So like, that's all I've got left to do in my mind. I would like to win a bracelet, maybe. That'd be like a cherry on the cake, if you like. But don't really have any goals. Just have a family, settle down, and just keep being healthy and enjoy my life, and just like continuing to make memories with like good friends and families.
Awesome. Beautiful. Yeah. All right, Sam, we appreciate it. Count me down here. Someone's going to win a $55 party poker ticket. We're going to give that away as we kind of close down here. So tell me when. You tell me just 3, 2, 1, or you say when, and someone's going to get the 55 on your hands.
Okay. When?
All right, someone just won, and I don't know how, I'm not going to pronounce it right. Jesus is big. I think my friend, this guy, I think just won something yesterday as well. Yep, look at that. Oh, he already got it. He won back-to-back. This was from a Twitch giveaway, so this guy's running hot. Some guys can do it. He might have cracked the code on the.
Yeah, I'm gonna say, dude, that's crazy. There's never a coincidence. You better watch out.
Yeah, that's.
How many players did you think people that entered this?
I can tell you, it was over 100. Yeah,
wow.
100,
he is running hot.
Yeah, he might have found a little glitch. I don't know. Never know though, man. That stuff happens. Go back to back. People get hot like on the giveaway.
Well, he's got to win it, right? And I guess he puts himself in all these free rolls and promotions, and he's involved, so he's like giving himself the best chance. Fair play to him. Hopefully he spins it up now in the tournament.
Yeah, maybe we'll see him in the 10K, parlay it for a ticket up to the 10K.
Yeah, that'd be sick, right?
So cheers, man. All right, we'll say hi to your wife again. It was great seeing you guys. Becoming a DJ superstar. Keep an eye out for her. Keep an eye out for Sam on the tables. We'll see you online, and I'll check in with you soon, man. Thanks for being here.
All right, boys. See you later. Cheers, Jeff. See you, everyone. Bye.
Sam Trickett, everybody. Thanks for watching. Again, this is going to be on iTunes, Stitcher, all the different podcast outlets, as well as you can watch it on replay anytime on our YouTube channel. Fighting a cold, so bear with me. And we really do appreciate Sam coming on. We'll see you guys soon. Thanks again. Number 32 podcast in the books. Sam Trickett, legend of the game, and very, very good friend, great guy. So we'll thank you again for coming, and we'll see you guys on the next episode.
So, man. Cheers, Jeff.
Cheers, bro.